The following is general advice only and should not be construed as accounting, legal, or any other professional advice. The details of your situation are fact dependent, and you are advised to seek the help of a competent professional. Yeah, baby, we are back. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It's been like 6 months. Welcome back to another action-packed edition of CPA Reviewed, the official podcast of Another71.com. As always, I am your humble host, Jeff Elliott, a licensed CPA in the state of Kansas, much to the chagrin of many. Happy Monday to you. Today is Monday, March 16th, 2015. Well, it has been since September since I did a podcast, and so I'm not really sure if you can still call it a podcast if you do it once every 6 months or whatever. But I was on hiatus finishing the Ninja book. The project took over a year, and I would say it was a labor of love, but it really sucked at times. So I did manage to binge watch through many seasons on Netflix and Amazon Prime. So, see, I got through all 7 seasons of The Shield, and watched The Killing, and I started season 1 of Deadwood. I rewatched all of Breaking Bad. I rewatched all seasons of The Wire. So, I mean, while you were cranking through and editing just text that's, just due to the nature of accounting and CPA exam related information, it's just boring, and especially when you're by yourself in your little office, and so you kind of need a wingman. So I had those television series to keep me company. But the Ninja book is completed. It's over 2,000 pages, which it sounds like a lot, but it's like 500 pages ish per book, and which when you really get down to it, I couldn't figure out how to make it any less than that, because you need to know the information, but you don't want to read the IRS regs, and so you want it to be readable but still be complete. So far, people love Ninja Book, and I'm very happy about that. And all right, on today's show, what I've done is, if you go to Another71.com and click in the upper right-hand corner, you will see Ask Jeff, and people send me a lot of questions. I get so many questions that it's like I open up my inbox and I have like 500 questions, and at times it's overwhelming. Most of the questions get answered either by myself or my vice president of customer experience, Andrea, who, for those who don't know, is actually my younger sister. So I used to pick on her when I was little, and now I pick on her with all of my Ask Jeff emails. She does an excellent job, and so she does a really good job. So I could not ask for a better sister or a better assistant. So what I'm going to do on the podcast today is I'm going to go back through the last week's worth of Ask Jeff questions. Not all of them, because not all of them are relevant to the podcast, but enough of them to where people get their questions answered. And I would like to do a podcast more consistently, somewhere between a couple times a week and once every 6 months. So there's a happy medium in there somewhere, I'm sure. So, well, I hope your CPA exam journey is going well. And I can't think of anything else to say other than let's jump into the questions. Brett writes in, and when people write in with the names of the review course, I don't read the name of the review course. Mostly because I don't mind reading the name of a review course if it's a positive comment, but I don't want to deal with the drama from the company if it's a negative comment, so I just opt to not read the name. How about that? Brett writes in, I've been using my review course for about 2 years now. Their self-study version. Nothing has helped me pass. I'm interested in trying your Ninja products. And these are actual questions, and I try to not make all these infomercials about Ninja products, but these are questions. People have these questions, and so I will read them and hopefully add value to your listening experience, even if you have no desire to ever buy a Ninja product. Brett says, nothing has helped me pass. I'm interested in trying your Ninja products. What do you recommend for first-time Ninja users? Should I buy the Ninja book as well as the MCQ? Thanks. Brett, if you are going to still use your review course, I would definitely get Ninja MCQ. I would stop using your other courses software and just use Ninja MCQ. If you have a commute, the Ninja Audio is very helpful. I mean, obviously I'm biased because I made it, but people listen to the audio on their commute. I personally like listening to podcasts on my commute or when I'm driving around. I'm not studying for the exam. If I did, I would do what I do now, which is either listen to podcasts or like Audible books from audible.com. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. If I were studying for the CPA exam, I would only listen to a CPA review audio. And I believe Ninja Audio is the best out there. If you can get past my voice, Ninja Audio is the best because I have listened to so many audiobooks and so many podcasts. I know what a good listening experience is and is not. And that's how I made my Ninja Audio better than everyone else's audio. And because I tailored it for auditory learning. You cannot just read off of a page or just take the audio file from a live class and make it a legit and quality audiobook. You have to tailor it for auditory learning, which is why in the Ninja Audio, I'll say, okay, now I'm going to say that again, focus here, because it draws the listener back. Because when you're driving and you're looking around, your mind starts to wander, and I know that. So I approach the Ninja Audio from that standpoint for auditory learning. So I would get bare minimum Ninja MCQ, and then if you want to add, you can add the 10-point combo, which is the audio, the notes, and the book, and the flashcards, and all of that. Bare minimum Ninja MCQ. If you want something that other courses don't have, and that is the Ninja Audio, I would get that. So if you want to ditch your review course videos and their book, then get the Ninja book as well. Megan writes in, well, I just got another 73 in FAR. I took it in February 2014 and got a 73. Took a promotion, bought a house, got married, all in 2014. I retook the exam this last February, and this week I got another 73. You should start your own website, Megan, another 73. But what can I do except keep my head up and crank out more multiple choice questions? I plan to schedule my next exam for mid-April as soon as I receive my NTS. And then she says she has the FAR Ninja Notes from 2013. Okay, since you have the FAR Ninja Notes from 2013, you can email me. You can get a fresh copy for free. I offer free updates until you pass. 3 straight 73s. Megan, and since I'm not speaking with you on the phone, I don't know this for sure, but my guess is that there are a couple of areas on FAR that you either are not studying or are not studying as much as you should, and not because you're lazy, but because the material is very boring. Like not-for-profit accounting, it's terrible, and you don't work in not-for-profit accounting. You don't ever plan on working in a not-for-profit. Why in the world do you care? Well, you have to care for the purposes of the CPA exam. So a lot of times people just skip it or just skim over it. Well, governmental and not-for-profit account for 20% of your exam. So you have to study it. So Megan, my question to you is, what section of FAR Are you just dreading so much that you're not studying at all or as much as you should? Because I think that is the difference between a 73 and a 75. If you go back and really hit those areas that you hate and so you aren't studying, if you really go back and hit those hard, you're going to score like an 85 or something. I mean, it's not a difference. It's not the difference between a 73 and a 75. It's the difference between like a 73 and an 80. I think you will improve your score that much more if you identify what you just flat out are not studying. Paul says, I just started studying for FAR and Reg and end up getting mad. I've sent my documents to NASBA for evaluation, and I'm awaiting their response. Now I'm so confused as to how to prepare for the exam and whether or not I should take two subjects at one time or only one. I have my course, and poor performance in my multiple choice questions makes me feel like quitting. Okay. So it's frustrating because you're not getting your NTS back. You can always email NASBA's customer care for that. Should you study for 2 exams at once? I would not. I would just pick one. I would pick FAR and go with it. How to study? If you go to another71.com and click on like the free notes, you will see my video on how to study using only Ninja products, but you can use it for any course. But it's really how to study using the Ninja framework. And Ninja is a study acronym. Go back and watch that, Paul. It's about 18 minutes. I think you'll really find it valuable for how to study the concepts. Where do multiple choice questions come into play? How do you review? How do you review 2 weeks out from your exam? How do you review 1 week out from your exam? How do you review 24 hours out from your exam? What do you do on exam day? Byron writes in, are all of your products downloadable or do I have to wait to receive them through the mail? Byron, they are all digital, and you should, assuming you enter your email address correctly. It is surprising how many people don't enter their email address correctly. They misspell their last name or something. But assuming you enter your email address correctly and assuming that my server is working properly, you should get them instantly. Idris writes in, I'm interested in getting the Ninja Audio for FAR. This is going to start sounding like an infomercial. I promise it's not. I'm interested in getting the Ninja Audio for FAR. How and where can I get it? Well, you can always go to another71.com and you'll see Ninja Audio in the sidebar. If you want to check it out for free, click on like the free notes or the free study planner and you will get a full chapter of each audio so you can check it out. Saeed writes in, I've just graduated and decided to start studying for the CPA exam. The question I have is how your notes and study materials differ from other competitors. Do you carry hard copy of notes? If so, what are the costs? There are tons of review courses out there asking for thousands of dollars, which it obviously is out of my budget, given the fact that I'm a recent graduate. Hope to hear from you soon. Thank you for your time. Ninja book is different than everyone else's book in that it's short, sweet, to the point. It doesn't blabber on about, it's not an accounting textbook plus a bunch of FASBs plus a bunch of IRS regs plus a CPA exam book. It's just a CPA exam book. And so each concept has a direct CPA exam application. If a tax or accounting concept or an auditing concept doesn't have a direct CPA exam application, it's not in the book. And Ninja Notes and Ninja Audio, some people love them, or most people love them. Some people are like, man, I don't know. I really need something more formal. Some people like more formal. Ninja Notes, Ninja Audio. When you listen to my Ninja Audio, you're going to you might hear like a mid-90s rap group reference to help you remember something. You're not going to get that in your big corporate feeling publicly traded CPA review course. You're not going to get that. So if mid-90s rap group references are not for you, you probably won't like the Ninja Audio. But people pass every quarter, and a lot of them pass every quarter with Ninja materials. So they do work. And, I passed several years ago, but I remember the prospect of paying thousands of dollars to pass the CPA exam is daunting for any family, or any candidate, especially someone who's trying to pay for diapers, Little League, trying to afford a minivan so they can cart their brood around. I mean, I don't see a lot of value in spending thousands and thousands of dollars when you can easily pass without breaking the bank. So Ninja materials are more affordable than most other courses. Tom says, I recently sat for BEC. I barely missed passing with a score of 73. Which of your products do you recommend? I'm currently using my review course. I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, if you're going to still use your review course, get Ninja MCQ and maybe Ninja Notes, or maybe the Ninja Audio for your commute. The bundled material all together. I mean, each Ninja Notes are great for reading in bed on your iPad, for instance. The Ninja Audio is great for commuting. The Ninja flashcards are great on your phone. The MCQ are awesome on your iPad or your tablet and your desktop. So each of them are different. The Ninja book will completely replace your video course or your course textbook. So it's kind of, what do you want to do? Do you want to just replace your course? Get the combo. If you just want to splice in a few Ninja products, get the MCQ and either notes or audio. Murda writes in, hi Jeff, I really need your help. I've taken FAR twice and my results are not pleasant. I'm using my review course. However, my results, based on my results, it's apparent that I need help. When I studied the material and even when I took the test, I felt like I knew it. I don't really know what else to do. I have 3 more months before I start working full-time with the Big Four. I wish I could pass 2 exams before I start. 3 months before your new job. Okay. Well, again, Murda, I would go to another71.com and click on like the study planner, and you'll see my video on how to study. And also download my free CPA exam survival guide, which lists out the Ninja framework. And watch the video and read that quick survival guide through the lens of, okay, this is how I'm studying. This is what Jeff says to do. What is different between the two? And also on your retake, don't fall into the trap of, okay, I've taken FAR so many times. Clearly, I don't need to study inventory again. No, you do. Just wipe the slate clean. Pretend like you've never studied it before. Don't cut corners. That is a common mistake candidates make. Camille writes in, I need to find out how I can join a current study group. I'm having difficulty passing, and hopefully with the study group, I will be able to get my 75 points. Go to the another71.com forum, and there are study groups stickied up at the top. They get very active, and people there are very helpful. Patricia writes in, hey Jeff, first of all, I want to thank you for putting this community together. Great support system for CPA candidates. I was wondering if I could purchase your Sims only for auditing. The Sims and the MCQ are not bifurcated. I learned bifurcated when I worked for a publicly traded company, and it has to do with separating things out. And I always wanted to put that into a sentence. And so, okay, enough of that nonsense. Okay, so the MCQ and the Sims are not separated. And so other review courses charge you for MCQs and the Sims and the practice test. Ninja MCQ has Sims, MCQ, and practice exams all lumped into one package, and it's really cheap. Right now it's $47 per section. So, and that's for 3 months. So I can't do the quick math on that. What is that, like like 15 or 16 bucks a section, a month. I mean, so. Allison says, "Hi Jeff, I just found out my score yesterday for BEC, a 68. How long does it take for NASBA to send the PDF document that summarizes the areas of the exam by comparing you to other candidates? Is it a PDF or do they mail it out? Usually, they might email that, but usually it takes like maybe a week." Diana writes in, "Hi Jeff, I just found out I failed BEC again. The first time I got a 72, this time a 74. I used my expensive course and can't pass. I know it's all about MCQ, but I feel like I'm memorizing answers versus learning. I just ordered access to your MCQ to get more practice. I would like to reset for the exam in the beginning of April. Any other advice you can give me?" Well, you scored a 72 and you scored a 74. Diana, go through, if you're going to use your review course again, go through it from start to finish using the Ninja framework. And when it gets to the MCQ part, ditch your software for Ninja MCQ. You already bought it, so I'm not trying to sell you anything. And follow the Ninja framework to a T. Do not cut any corners. Just because you scored a 74, you are not a 74 today. If you took the exam today without studying, you'd probably score like a 65, because there's just something to be said about cramming a bunch of information into your head leading up to the exam. I mean, stuff that you, like concepts that you had mastered 9 weeks ago, you don't have mastered today because maybe you don't work in that area. So you don't remember the nuances of how to do the pension expense calculation. So, but get the CPA exam survival guide. Make sure you download that, and also watch the Ninja video. Go to another71.com and click on the free study planner or the free notes, and you will see it there. It's about 18 minutes long. Veronica writes in, "Good morning, Jeff. I just bought the Ninja notes for Reg, and on the first page it says 2014 tax law, tested until June 30th, 2015. I'm taking Reg July 2015. Do you think I'll need any updates, and how will I get them?" Reg does not change a lot from year to year, for the most part. So if Congress removes some deductions to arrive at AGI, like they nix the teacher expense, so you pull that out. They're always messing with the 179 deduction, and inevitably they always retroactively put the 179 deduction back into play, which they did in 2015, and they made it retroactive for 2014, which confused CPA exam candidates. Like, well, what do I need to know for my exam? Well, yes, you are being in your early 2015 exam, you are being tested on 2014 tax law that was in effect 6 months ago. So the 2014 tax law tweak that they just made, that's retroactive, ignore that. So that's a long way. So all of that to say, the exam will not change a lot once the 2015 tax law is tested. The 179 deduction will change, but that's easy. That's just something that you memorize. The 179 deduction and the 179 phase out. Because what the exam likes to do is they will tell you that ABC company bought $300,000 or $600,000 worth of equipment, and if the phase out is $100,000 or it's $500,000, and anyway, you have to be able to adjust accordingly. But the 179 deduction is a moving target. I still have not answered your question. The July updates will be out in June, and they will be free to you. I usually put out an announcement. Just email me. But you have that now. You can still study anyway, because Reg is surprisingly conceptual, even though they test on tax law. A lot of the tax concepts don't change a lot from year to year. Just some minor tweaks. And 40% of regulation is ethics and business law, and that never changes. So I hope that's helpful. Lana writes in, I received my bachelor's degree in political science. I want to make a career change, and I'm currently enrolled in a community college and receiving the following associate's degree and certificate program. Certificate in CPA preparation and associates in accounting. This will give me the necessary education credits to sit for the CPA exam. If I was to pass the CPA exam, would a company hire someone such as myself that received their accounting education from a community college with absolutely no accounting work experience, but a certificate in CPA preparation, associates in accounting, and passing CPA exam scores, but I need work experience to get the license? Will someone hire me, or am I just wasting my time? I need to get my master's degree in accounting instead of doing community college. I did get into a master's in accounting program, but getting the credits to sit for the CPA exam through community college is almost $90,000 cheaper. Can I please receive some guidance? Thanks. Well, Lana, I mean, what you're probably going to run into is, I mean, the big CPA firms are probably not going to come knocking on your door, but that's okay. You're going to need to take an alternate path, which is the path that I took. And that is, I went to work for a small mom and pop CPA firm, which has its advantages and disadvantages. With a small firm, it's more laid back, and you end up doing a little bit of everything. You end up just doing a lot of grunt work like sales tax reports, 941s, 940s. You end up doing bookkeeping for your small business clients, and you might do some audits, and then during tax season you do all sorts of tax work. That's good because you get a wide variety of things. That might not be so good because when you work for a small firm, small firms just have their little nuances. Like, there's probably more drama in a small firm. I worked in a firm of all women, and there actually wasn't a lot of drama. Well, there was some drama, and I just kind of kept my head low. I think there's like 6 or 7 women in that firm, and I was the token male, as they called me. So, and I was deeply offended by that. I would try to find a small firm that only cares if you have passed the exam and that you can sit under a licensed CPA and get your requisite experience and get licensed. And then you can go work for another firm if you really want to. But there are a lot of advantages to working for a small firm. I mean, I'm not going to say that the hours are any better because you work for a small firm, and so there's a lot of weight on each person's shoulders. So it's not like a small firm has less work or something like that. It's actually your job to help bring in business because small firms need clients. So if it were me, I would go down the same path that you are going. Save yourself the $90,000. I mean, so let's say your master's in accounting netted you a job that paid $10,000 more a year. Okay. It's going to take you 9 years of working just to break even on that investment, on that additional cost. So don't worry about that. I hope that's helpful. Mitzi writes in, hi Jeff, I took BEC twice and failed. First time I scored a 67, second time I 61, so you went down. I'm so tired. I don't know how to study anymore. Please help. How should I proceed? I used my course and Ninja books the first time. The second time, I added the Ninja book and Ninja MCQ, but didn't go through them completely. So you went down in your score. My guess is that you didn't study as much the first time, or you studied the same amount but didn't study all the material. And so it says that you didn't do the Ninja MCQ all the way. So I would read the Ninja book and do the Ninja MCQ, watch my video for how to study using Ninja only. So make sure that in Ninja MCQ that you get to the adaptive learning stage. That means that you've passed. Well, once you get past the assessment phase, which is the first 35%, the adaptive learning phase starts to figure out what you know and what you don't know, and starts to send you the questions that will help you to strengthen your weaknesses. I would aim for the review phase, which means that you've answered every question correctly at least once. And according to the poll that I ran across the entire universe of people using Ninja MCQ, people who scored in the 80s on their trending score and got the review phase passed 85 to 90% of the time. 85 to 90% pass rate is really good. So that's what I would do. Eileen writes in, I just found out that I got a 72 on auditing, which I took in February. I passed this in 2012, but lost my credit. I was sure that I had passed. It didn't seem that bad. My question is, I was planning to take BEC next. Do you recommend I retake auditing in April and put off BEC until the summer? BEC is the one section I have not taken at all yet. Eileen, it doesn't really matter because you are going to have to redo auditing completely from start to finish. You cannot cut corners. If you're sick of auditing and need a break, then maybe there's something to be said about switching over to BEC and just looking at new material and coming back and finishing off auditing. If it were me, maybe you should take a break. John writes in, I have a question regarding a career in public accounting. I'm a 30-year-old man with a degree in accounting who has been in a completely different job path for many years. Given my age, lack of job experience, and a low GPA, is it still even worth it to aim for a CPA license at this age? What do you think the odds are of even landing a decent job? I turn to you since you're someone who is young and have been in this industry. Well, I'm not that young, John. I'm 37. So, someone was talking, or maybe it was yesterday, someone was talking about something that happened in the 70s, and I was thinking, man, I was alive in the 70s. So, because I think the 70s was a long time ago, but I was 2. And so, okay, John, with a low GPA and being 30 years old, if you pass the CPA exam, who cares? You can get passing the CPA exam will open a lot of doors for you. People, once I got past my first job, no one ever asked what my GPA was. And so I wouldn't worry about that. And if you pass the CPA exam and meet your state's requirements for protecting the public interest, but some company gets hung up on your GPA, which is affected by decisions that you made when you were 18 years old, like you just didn't go to class for a whole year because you had better things to do. I think we all have better things to do than go to class, but anyway, if they are going to judge whether or not they want you to work for them based on decisions that you made at 18, then that might not be a good fit for you. So once you pass the CPA exam, who cares? If they ask for your GPA, tell them to go pound sand, or more politically say, it wasn't the greatest, but I have actually gotten serious, and here are the steps that I've taken to show you that I'm now Mr. John, serious accountant / CPA. and this is what I'm going to do for you now. Who cares what I did when I was 18? Just go for it. Get the CPA exam under your belt. Put it on your resume. Don't put, who cares about your GPA? You're 30 years old. You still have 35, 40 years left in your career. So come on, man. It's okay. But I do understand your anxiety. But who cares about the past? Pass the CPA exam. No one's going to ask about your GPA. Ethan writes in, my CPA scores are currently as follows. Auditing 92, BEC 79, FAR 76, Regulation 74. With my last reg score, my FAR drops off. Now I've taken reg 5 times and gotten scores of 68, 72, 73, 74. 68, 71, 72, 73, and 74. Is there a rescore process or anything? I don't really want to have to pass FAR again, plus reg having missed all 4 parts by literally 1 point. Ethan, you are my man. You're exactly like I was. So I scored back-to-back 74s on regulation, and so I lost my financial credit. And so I am exactly where you were. I was so pissed off that I wanted to throw my laptop through the room. And at the time, that would have been okay because looking back on it, it was a Windows machine. I'm completely a Mac guy now, so breaking a Windows machine would be kind of funny to me. Although, anyway, all of you Windows people are like looking down your nose at me through your Windows 8 because I'm a Mac fanboy. But hey, my system is easy to use, so and I get updates for free, much like Ninja. You get free updates until you pass. You buy it once, you get free updates. So I don't have to buy a new operating system every 4 months. But okay, went off on a tangent there that probably did not serve my audience one bit. But anyway, I lost FAR, and I was like, I'm one freaking point away from passing. Surely the AICPA hates me. Well, no, the AICPA didn't hate me. I'm not really sure what they think about me now, but really what happened was it wasn't a conspiracy theory to keep me from passing the CPA exam. It was the fact that I didn't want to study AMT, that I didn't want to study like kind exchanges, that I hated corporate tax, and so I did not study them as much. I liked individual tax, so I was going to study that a lot. For some weird reason, agency law really clicked for me. So I'd rather do questions over that than do questions over corporate tax. When I finally embraced the fact that I needed to restudy those and study them almost to a mastery level, then I scored a 92 on regulation, and then I went back and I passed FAR the next time. This is going to be the path that you take. You are going to go back, annihilate reg, score a 92, and then go back and pass FAR. And then 6 months from now, your frustrations will be, It will make for a good war story someday when you're telling stories about the CPA exam. Christine says, first of all, congrats to your enterprising mind for seizing this unmet need in the market. Thank you, Christine. I've been using my course, and the instructors all feel like old friends to me as I've been watching them for 3 years now. I finally passed, which is funny because the course is all advertised like an insanely high first-time pass rate. So, Christine, you must be the one person that didn't pass the first time using their course. I finally passed FAR in August. I'm scheduled for FAR, I finally passed FAR in August. I'm scheduled for auditing, third attempt, in April. I am sold on trying your book for reg, and if I like it for BEC too, but I test your honesty now. I'm averaging 75 to 85 on my practice exams currently. Would it be worth it to get your auditing book too? Okay. So you're taking auditing early April, and you're far enough in your process to where you're getting a 75 to 85 on your practice exams. I would not add the auditing book. I would add Ninja MCQ, which is the least expensive of everything I sell. I would add Ninja MCQ, and I would consider Ninja Notes as well, because that's like a cram type product. However, currently, if you get the book, it comes with the Ninja Notes free. So there's that. If I were you, I would get Ninja MCQ. So while I would love to sell you an auditing book, I would get Ninja MCQ. Good luck to you, Christine. And attack auditing. You've already passed FAR. And you're going to use the book for regulation and maybe BEC. Good. So, go take auditing and then move on to regulation. Thank you, Christine. Azra writes in, I just got my score for FAR. And by the way, Christine, I wasn't laughing because you said I had an enterprising mind. I was just laughing because I don't really think of myself as having an enterprising mind. But I appreciate the compliment. Azra writes in, I just got my score for FAR, and I got a 71. This was my first CPA exam, and needless to say, I'm crushed by that score. I'm currently studying for BEC, and I don't know if I should halt my studying for BEC and restudy for FAR, or take BEC now and then study for FAR. Azra, I don't think it matters because you were going to have to restudy BEC start to finish anyway. If it were me, okay, so you've already, you failed FAR, you've jumped into BEC. If you are like halfway through BEC, keep going. If you're like a week into BEC, I would move back to FAR, only because I think you should pass FAR first. That's my personal opinion. People should pass FAR first. Okay, I'm really terrible with names, especially foreign names, but Yemenhal, I'm sorry. I have questions regarding the Ninja method and how to use the CPA prep that I have available to me. I'm currently using a big expensive course, and I have access to another big expensive course because of my prior purchases. I'm using the Ninja method. I'm watching and listening to videos first. Should I listen to them all or one section at a time? Listen to them all. That's the Ninja method. Watch them all first. Okay. Also, after listening to the videos, when I'm taking my notes, is it recommended that I read the book, or can I jump right into my Ninja notes and use them to reinforce difficult concepts? Okay, so you have the Ninja notes too. I would take notes on your videos using a legal pad, and I would use your Ninja notes separately, and then maybe combine the two when you rewrite your notes. But I would take your notes separately on a legal pad. Laura writes in, hello, I have passed BEC, FAR, and auditing. I got made fun of one time for saying odd, like AUD, auditing. Like some people say BEC for BEC, and it's always been BEC to me, but auditing has always been odd. But someone's like, odd, what's that, you weirdo? So anyway, tangent. My auditing expires May 31st, so I have one more chance to pass regulation. Okay, you passed BEC. I distracted myself. You passed BEC, FAR, and auditing is getting ready to expire. Okay. You have to pass reg. You failed. Laura says, I failed previously with a 68. Honestly, I think I would pass, but I had a life issue the day before my exam and was distracted the day before and the day of my test. Okay. Looking back, it wasn't smart to take it. I feel like I knew the material. I honestly do. My question is this. I have a super expensive course, and I am super busy. And I don't have the hours and hours to study. I don't have the hours and hours to study one at a time for this section. And I didn't feel like the lessons were very small, and I didn't like it. I also had my study software, which I did all of the questions, but a ton were the same as my course. 2 days before the exam, I purchased Ninja MCQ, and I think I purchased them earlier. Or if I had purchased them earlier, it would have benefited me more. All of this to say, what is your suggestion for my retake? Should I buy the Ninja stuff and completely start over? I have the notes also. So it would be the book, video, and audio. Or just do the MCQ and keep reviewing like I've been leading up to the test. I think I might give up if I have to retake a section. Well, Laura, you have a lot at stake here. If you don't pass, you're going to lose a section, and more importantly, it is going to deflate you. Now, I can tell you that losing a section is not the end of the world, but initially it will feel like it's the end of the world. You have a lot on the line, and okay. If you don't want to use your other course because you're just over it or you hate it, if you realistically are not going to use it, then get the rest of the Ninja materials. while it's great to, like, the amount of money that you're going to spend upgrading, because I will give you a discount on the combo since you already have the notes and the MCQ. You can just email me. The amount of money that you will spend to upgrade it and get the rest of the Ninja materials, like the book, is less than the cost of your NTS for retaking, and it's probably worth the price of the price tag is probably worth your sanity. I obviously don't want to sell you stuff that you don't need, because normally I would just say, well, just use your old course and just keep using the MCQ. But you have a lot at stake, so I would, instead of using your old course, I would read the Ninja book and I would just follow the Ninja study framework, watching the video and everything that I outlined. You must get through the review phase of Ninja MCQ and be trending in the 80s. Okay? You have to do that. If you're not doing that, don't take your exam, because you have to pass regulation or you're going to lose your credit. All right, everyone. Whew. That was a marathon session. We just hit 45 minutes. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has been mildly entertaining. And I really like doing podcasts. And so you can always send your questions, comments, hate mail. Go to another71.com, click in the upper right-hand corner, click Ask Jeff, and I promise, truly attempt to answer them in my next podcast, because I'm done with the book, baby. So I do have some other projects that I'm going to start, but I was just laser focused. But now that I have the book, Ninja is a complete package, and people can and do use it to pass. So I feel like I have a complete offering out there. So the other stuff is just extra stuff to help you pass. So I'm going to commit to doing a podcast. I promise. So go to another71.com, click in the upper right-hand corner, click Ask Jeff, and I will try to answer it in the next edition of the podcast. So thank you for listening. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Take care, be good, and I will talk to you